Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Captain Devashish Basu. This is my wife and partner, Dr. Nishani Mitra. Our project of creating the website, the AIMPA website, was not just a job. There was a lot of passion involved. We really believed in the cause, and Captain Gajanan, of course, being the dynamic personality he is, we have associated ourselves. We have worked with the AIMPA for almost 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken. It may be a little less than 2 years, almost 2 years. And the cause that we were looking forward to was we have a 7,500 kilometer long coastline, one of the longest coastlines anywhere in the world. So hundreds of pilots working and so many individuals having so many experiences on a daily basis. So the cause we really believed in was to bring all that together, was to have a platform which could serve as a voice of the Indian pilots and also reach out to the international community of pilots to learn from them to make ships and operations much more safer. So with that in mind, we, as Captain Gajanan said, that we started with an app last year, and that app was meant to facilitate the reporting of substandard ships and basically to serve as a feedback mechanism of pilots around the Indian coastline. And from there, the idea of the website was conceptualized, and that sort of took shape this year, and we finalized the website this year. So this website is meant to act as a much larger platform than the app was initially meant for. Of course, it covers all the requirements for the app. And, there are a number of things integrated in the website. For example, official purpose, contacting the AIMPA for official purposes. For example, if you're having any trouble on any ship, or you find a ship which is substandard, a reporting mechanism for the pilots, as well as to communicate with them on behalf. It's sort of a conduit between the pilots and the ministry or the other bodies related to shipping to bring about greater changes. But also there are informal areas where you can go into the gallery, you can see the pilots, how they work, and there are a number of videos and photos. And we are inviting blogs. Some of our enthusiastic people in the AIMPA have already contributed their ideas through blogs, and we are inviting blogs from other members as well to become members of AIMPA with some fantastic. I'm really jealous of the insurance options. I don't know if I'll be eligible for it, but it's really, really very, very interesting to see, as Sumita will later probably describe, that the pilots of India will be able to avail some very, very interesting insurance options which will protect their lives and their safety while they do such an important work. And a number of publications, downloads, and all this has been what our job has been as part of the creation process. We have some fantastic designers working with us, which is why we could combine all this information with some modern tools and some responsive designs, which would look great on any phone or any other device which you may use. And that's the journey, and we are really this is something which is very close to my heart. We have had long discussions especially with Captain Gajanan, about the cause and the thing that he believes in. And it's really, I'm honored and rather humbled to be in the presence of some of the most esteemed personalities in the shipping industries today. And that has been it's been a fantastic journey for us. So let's hope everyone likes the website and it takes off, really serves the cause.
Hi, good afternoon to all. My name is Subhida Sharma and I'm liaison officer for AIMPA. Thank you, AIMPA, for taking me into AIMPA family. I will be liaising with all maritime pilots for membership, and also I will be actively involved in this managing this beautiful website, which includes managing of reports from pilots. I come from background of managing Harley Davidson membership, so I am very well versed with this field, and I'm sure I will add value to the IAMPA as a licensed officer. I'm very excited to work with this maritime community because I wanted to enter to be a sailor, but unfortunately I couldn't join as there was no guidance. So now I'm happy to connect with maritime community through IAMPA, and it gives me lots of pleasure to work with IAMPA. The benefits of membership of IAMPA are given on the website. Just for the viewers, I will be calling you all and explaining you all the on the phone. Let's work positively towards the safety and security of the maritime pilots, which is the prime motto of IAMPA. And once again, thank you, IAMPA, for including me, and thank you very much. Good evening.
It's a very lesser known fact that the pilot's profile or the vocation of a pilot is one of the oldest professions in the world. There are references to pilotage even in the creations of Homer and Virgil. Even in the Iliad, there is references to pilotage. There are references to pilots in the Bible as well. So from the time humans have started trading, there have been maritime pilots because shipping has been the primary modes of trading. And even today, we are all aware 90% by volume of the world's trade happens through oceans. Now, the pilots are nothing but, if you put it very bluntly, the ports around the world, they affect the economy of a nation very highly. But ports are nothing but glorified, if you allow me to put it that way, glorified shops which need business. And business can happen only if ships come in, ships go out, bring the cargo, take the cargo out. And due to the particular nature of their business, it is very important that they need somebody professional to bring those ships inside. And that's what pilots have been doing. And for all of you who have been looking at the video that was playing alongside when Captain Gajanan was making his initial talk, you may have got an idea that the pilots often do it at considerable risk to their lives. And it is a sad fact that even today in much of the organized sector, particularly the government ports and all that, there is no standard idea of insurance for the pilot, for someone who's risking their life to do this job. Because there is no alternative to that. Climbing the ladder is something which you cannot avoid. Disembarking from the ladder is something which you cannot avoid. So there has always been very much need for basic things like insurance, protection from liability for accidents, compensation regime, and most importantly, a structured training and approach to all of this, which has been seriously found lacking in our system compared to many of the developed countries who have accepted pilotage as a very, very important activity for their country and for their nation economy to prosper. It is in this time that AIMPA has made a very good opportunity. AIMPA has come in the front with a lot of scope. AIMPA has a lot of prospects here. We are trying to make a united voice, a united forum for all the pilots across India and all Indian pilots everywhere to look at certain basic concepts, basic things which are plaguing the pilotage community, plaguing the profession, and which needs to be addressed to sustain this noble endeavor. A lot of prospects for AIMPA. There is prospects for getting into the construction and inspection, right from the construction stage, the design stage, where the vessel is in compliance with the pilotage requirements, compliance with the international regulations. From then onwards to the licensing with the PSC inspectors to keep a strict check on the process of pilot ladder inspections, pilot boarding arrangements on board. Then onwards, licensing with the ladder manufacturers, licensing with the superintendents who make the purchase for the ladder to ensure that they are not just buying something that is good on paper, but actually worth stepping on and risking the life of a pilot. Looking at certificates of these, licensing with agencies who certify these pilot ladders. Furthermore, looking at a platform to allow further learning, further growth for the entire pilotage community. there is a lot of scope, there is a lot of task that is cut out for the AIMPA. And it is really a wonderful sight to know that Captain Gajanan has taken this initiative to form something called the AIMPA, which is going to act as an umbrella body, which envisages to bring all the issues, whether it is development related, whether it is compensation related, or whether it is even simply life related, life and limb related, under one umbrella. And I really thank Captain Gajanan and his team for giving me an opportunity to just spend few minutes to give my two bits from a pilot's perspective. Thank you very much, and I wish all the best for AIMPA. Thank you.
I would start by saying today is perhaps we can call what is a D-Day for piloting in India. Worldwide, piloting in waters has become a highly sophisticated and specialized job aided by modern technology. Gadgets, instruments, software tools are in the process of evolving as the newer advancements take place in technology. But if you look at this scenario in India, maritime sector has always focused on marine engineering and nautical science, and piloting has not been on the forefront at all. I think this is where Captain Karanjikar comes in. He's taken the lead and taken upon himself to pilot, steer, direct this sector into the forefront. I think piloting methods in India seem to have been stagnated, and for nearly a century, it has remained the same. Captain Karanjikar has, in the past few months that I've been associated with him, focused on four aspects. One is the safety aspects. As we could see, like the previous speaker mentioned, we could see the kind of accidents that can take place. So the safety aspects have to be given the prime importance, and I think that's what Captain Karanjikar is focusing on. The second aspect is standardization of training, because there is no standard training at the moment practically which is available or that the pilots go through, or if there is, it is a little disparate, and they need to standardize it and bring it together, while at the same time discerning the need for differentiation depending on the local conditions. From port to port, there are specialized training that is needed for pilots, but there is a standardized basic training. The third is, I think, where he has succeeded extremely well, even in a short period, is to raise the awareness regarding the need for pilots, the need for pilot training. And this he has done in several ways. Bringing out a journal is one of them. Conducting in a collaboration with the Indian Maritime University, he has raised the level to a competition where students were invited to bring papers, come up with papers on a competitive mode regarding piloting. I think that's been highly appreciated by the sector across the globe, actually. And the fourth one is, of course, institutionalizing the entire approach by forming the AIMPA. He was instrumental in forming this and to giving the pilots in India a platform on which they can come together, discuss issues, look at the advancements in technology, look at the safety aspects, clarify their doubts, etc. And now that has culminated in the inauguration of a website which will offer more and more services, as was explained. So what I would like to say on the personal front is I really admire the gumption and the passion with which he brings to the sector. I think anything driven with passion has to be successful. There can be no other choice. And the approach that he takes is, I would call this is infectious enthusiasm. So even if you don't know what piloting is, and if you're not been really interested, but the passion which he brings, it draws everybody into getting into knowing what is piloting and supporting the cause. We at the Indian Maritime University, in keeping with our mandate to cover education and training in all aspects of the maritime sector, do plan to expand our education and training to cover different aspects of piloting. So without much ado, I would like to end by felicitating Captain Karanjkar and his entire team, which he has built very enthusiastically on the institution of not just the website today, but also of all the work that has gone behind it in the form of institutionalizing this association, bringing out a journal, and getting all the pilots, the marine and riverine pilots together. I would like to wish you, Captain Karanjikar, and your team, and all the pilots who are listening in, the Nautical Institute members, etc. On behalf of all of them, I would like to wish you success in all your future endeavors and look forward to partnering you in this journey towards safety and security. Thank you.
It really is quite a pleasure to be here and to see so many familiar faces again online. And we're getting quite good at these Zoom meetings, I think. I was looking back through my notes and I came across a message on LinkedIn, actually, from one of my then new contacts, Captain Gajanan Karanjakar. And yes, I've had the pleasure of being involved in his dream of AIMPA since 2019. And actually it was in 2020, on the 28th of April, actually at 12:42 a.m. my time. I just love how we get these timestamps. We have this almost constant communication with different platforms. I received an image of a social media profile, a Twitter profile, from the All Indian Marine Pilots Association. There was 162 followers. And Captain Karanjakar said, "We are trying to make this big elephant fly." And there was an emphasis on the big. And he's laughing, he remembers that one. I responded to that by putting him in touch with some of my good colleagues at the Australasian Marine Pilots Institute, AIMPA. And the work continued from there. This work has been a catalyst for global energy as well. And it's wonderful to see the energy that we are now looking at through different platforms, including the Global Marine Pilot Think Tank and other contacts and colleagues that I have, such as Ari Palmers, Kevin Valance, and the excellent publications that have been coming out now from AIMPA. They form around the globe, within them from experts from around the globe, communities of experts. So the months, as we know, from 2020 now have turned into a year or more. And I took a look at that Twitter platform again, 941 followers. So you're almost up to that 1,000. So much more energy, and a Facebook page with more than 200 followers, and a growing LinkedIn presence for yourself, Captain Gajanan, more than 900 connections. So we are seeing the energy happening, and I think that big elephant is now flying. He's going to fly very well. As you all know, I am not a marine pilot myself, but I do have a strong connection with pilotage. You heard that I started off my career as a navigation officer in the Canadian Coast Guard, and believe it or not, every now and then, Canadian Coast Guard vessels would take a pilot from time to time. And of course, I had to climb those pilot ladders often in the work that I was doing. I've worked with IALA, and one of our sister organizations with the International Association of Marine Aids to Navigation and Lighthouse Authorities is, of course, the International Marine Pilots Association, AIMPA. And then when I came to Australia, working with the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, I was the manager of vessel traffic and pilotage services. In that role, I oversaw the review of the Pilotage Marine Order, one of our regulatory powers on coastal pilotage. I chaired the Coastal Pilotage Working Group. I was overseeing the implementation of the first dynamic underkeel clearance management system for the Torres Strait. We also had a number of focus activities around pilot training, fatigue management, pilot launch safety capabilities, and the development of a Queensland Coastal Passage Plan, whereby the pilotage passage plan was shared before the vessels arrived into the Great Barrier Reef and Torres Strait. More recently, I have focused on pilot boarding issues, including supporting, where I can, work on pilot ladder safety and the overall pilot boarding activity. As we've heard from Melanie Shankar, there is such a need for training, consistent and standardized training for everyone involved in the pilot transfer. This includes better training on board the ships with regards to the importance of the Pilotage Act and the pilot transfer, the pilots themselves, of course, and also the pilot launch, the coxswains and the crew. So we need so much activity around that from an educational point of view. And I come at this with some personal experience where friends of mine, very good pilotage friends of mine, have had falls themselves from pilot ladders. And thankfully, my friends have not had fatal falls, but so many pilots, too many pilots, we lose them through falls from pilot ladders. We can do better. As president of the Nautical Institute, I continue to support the issues of all maritime professionals, including pilotage issues. The Nautical Institute continues to work closely with AIMPA as a sister organization. And as you heard, I represent the Nautical Institute at Ayala, chairing the different working groups on digital communications and the VTS Committee on Personnel and Training. In my work at Ayala, I've had the opportunity to work closely with many pilots on issues relating to VTS and training. And the input from these communities of experts, the input that you have gathered, Captain Gajanan, the input that you will get from the website, it is so important to have this opportunity, this catalyst, to share best practices, to share ideas, and to have robust discussion to help ensure safe, secure, efficient, and effective transits. So I'm so excited to see this website launched. It really is a wonderful day to see the birth of this website, to see that elephant fly, another great resource for education, data collection, sharing, and more. It is my very great honor to be part of the journey of the All India Marine Pilots Association. And I wish you a strong future, fair winds, safe boardings, and may the light of education, learning, and sharing of knowledge lead AIMPA to an ever stronger future. Thank you so much and congratulations.
It is indeed a pleasure to be sharing this platform with illustrious dignitaries from the maritime fraternity, Dr. Malini Shankar, a very personal friend of mine, and Madam Gillian Carson Jackson, President of the Nautical Institute, all my industry colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good day to all of you. It's safer to say a good day because when we are meeting from different parts of the world, I won't mess up with the afternoons and the evenings. So being the last makes my job much easier because after Dr. Malini Shankar has spoken, and I'm always in awe of her, when she speaks, after that I'm speechless generally. And of course, with Gillian Carson Jackson also having so illustriously explained everything about the pilot launch and the pilot ladder. And after hearing her that she's actually herself piloted a number of times, I'm actually going to be short of words. And I think all that is relevant for the occasion has already been said by the eminent speakers and guests. So I'll like to go a little off track and appreciate today's entire event, because I'm sure that's something which has not been talked about. Everything about the pilot has already been, must compliment Captain Gajanan on this very unusual way of holding the meeting. It was really very, very amazing to see the lightning of the lamp virtually. Very interesting that when Captain Gajanan was speaking, you could virtually see how the pilot was trying to pilot, and how we the pilots falling into the sea. So, it gave us a practical insight onto what happens and how disastrous the profession can be. While you were talking, of course, Captain Gajanan, it did not distract us from all the lovely words that you were speaking, because as the other speakers have said, you are a very magnetic personality, very infectious with your energy levels. So it's impossible that one would not listen and heed to what you were talking about. So it's indeed a pleasure to be here on this special occasion of launching of the independent website for the AIMA. Uh, as a website, as we all know, is actually the face of an organization or creation for the public at large. And it is imperative that it takes the stakeholders through not only the vision, the mission, and the history, but also the constantly changing dynamics of the area that it deals with and in which it operates. The arena of shipping is now an evolving one, be it technology advancement or the changing regulations. So I'm sure an independent website shall greatly facilitate information and exchange for all the stakeholders and provide a ready platform to them to interact. Having a place which you can call as your own always helps to bring people together. So I'm sure pilots now have a place where they can very readily interact, and the website, I'm very confident that it will be helpful not only to the pilot fraternity but also the overall shipping fraternity, educating them about the pilotage profession, the latest technological and the policy framework, and will also further help in generating ideas for a sustainable environment. AIMPA's aim of progressive reforms and several objectives that AIMPA has envisaged calls for involvement and participation by a wider maritime fraternity, for which a conscious and serious endeavor needs to be made to share the concerns and integrate the efforts of all concerned. Captain Gajanan Karanjikar, President AIMPA, has been very actively making efforts that would ultimately translate to a safe ecosystem suited and conducive to all. AIMPA, being active in its efforts in that direction, shall ultimately achieve its long-term goal, sustainable environs for the maritime, and making that difference benefiting the pilots in the country. I congratulate AIMPA for launching its independent website and wish them continued success in their journey to bring about the desired change that the industry needs for achieving its sustainable goals. Thank you, Captain Gajan Karanjikar and AIMPA, for this opportunity. Wish you loads and loads of success. Thank you.
Hello and good day to all. This is Sanjeev Pandey, a pilot serving at a terminal at Dahej Port in Gujarat, India. And I also help edit AIMPA's monthly German and other work that Gajanan, in his great enthusiasm, throws my way. Very often, that is. It gives me great pleasure to present this vote of thanks, and I express my thanks to the organizers for giving me this honor. First of all, I would mention the special guest, Amitabh Kumar sir. You were missed. We hope that you will be with us in some other function. We will really need your inputs. Captain Rajesh Nambiar, I would like to thank him for outlining a whole range of issues concerning pilotage that need addressing in India as well as internationally. I thank Captain Basu for helping us set up this website. I'm sure GoDaddy.com would have been a total no-no. I think he'll agree with that. Dr. Malini Shankar, thank you for making Captain Gajanan Karanjikar blush with delight with your fulsome praise, acknowledging his singular efforts through AIMPA for improving things for pilots in India. Ms. Gillian Carson-Jackson, yes, your help in making the elephant fly is very much appreciated. Thank you. And Mrs. Joshi, thank you for your warm wishes. Yes, indeed, ma'am. All will agree with you when you said it helps to have a place to call their own. And for AIMPA, it is its website. Now that AIMPA's website is a reality, I'm sure that its members and its well-wishers will agree when I say that the website is just a very useful tool for facilitating the work that must now be done. Deciding the what, who, how of the work is what the website will help achieve, especially with the changes in how we work that have been brought in by the ongoing pandemic becoming the norm. Most discussion and sharing of ideas will be online. The website couldn't have come a moment sooner. So I say, AIMPA and its members, please use this website in earnest to speed the work that is in hand and to set new goals. On this note, on behalf of AIMPA and all those watching, I would like to express my thanks to our special guests, Shri Amitabh Kumar, Dr. Malini Shankar, Mrs. H.K. Joshi, and Ms. Jirin Jackson, and to the website development team led by Captain Devbashish Basu and Dr. Ishani Mitra of Navguide Solutions. To some fellow professionals, they were the inspiration that led to today's website. I call them by name: Herman Broers, Rotterdam Port Pilot, with his highly respected website, pilotladdersafety.com. R.E. Palmers, Rotterdam Port Pilot, with his terrific blog posts on ladder safety. Frank Daigle, CEO of an IT company in Germany, for his marinepilot.com website, hosting matters of great professional interest to pilots and interested parties. Gurpreet Singhota, a former mariner with extensive experience at leadership positions on a committee at the IMO, having safety of navigation as one of his remits. Ravi Nijjar, a former mariner based in Australia with great and extensive experience in designing and implementing safety systems that surround navigation in piloted waters. A highly experienced Netherlands pilot, nowadays very much into giving generously of his time for providing guidance to nascent organizations such as AIMPA in improving piloted systems. Girish Chandra, a young but highly experienced pilot who runs his own weblog on ship handling techniques. Being tech savvy, he has contributed greatly in designing the website's features available for users and members and for vetting them. Vivek Bhandarkar, a mariner with decades in the media and publishing business, especially for the maritime industry. His help in putting together AIMPA's monthly journal is invaluable, for the journal provides the needed depth in keeping track of what has been engaging AIMPA at various times. Nazir Upadhyay, a former mariner, for his invaluable behind-the-scenes work facilitating webinars and online social media activities of AIMPA. For example, this very inauguration event. He made it possible. Vijay Sharma, a young master mariner at sea as I speak, also an aspiring pilot. He is AIMPA's host for the very interesting interview series Pilot Ki Baat on YouTube. Also an ardent ambassador for ladder safety at sea. Nishat Dixit, a young master and provider of enthusiasm, a very useful commodity. And the many others who have generously given of their time and experience, but whom, unfortunately, it is not possible to name. Pilots, officials at many ports, officials both serving and retired from maritime administration, influential persons in several industry bodies and associations. A special vote of thanks to our founding members, Captain Pushpa Kumar, Sergeant Varghese, Shashikant Jadhav, and all the governing council members for their unstinting support, without which such initiatives at AIMPA would not have happened. Captain Gajanan Karanjikar, for his tremendous efforts and dedication for such a long time, multitasking day and night, balancing conflicting opinions so diplomatically, managing to see through this initiative while tackling several others at the same time. The event host, Dr. Kalpana, Suvidha Sharma, and soon-to-be seafarers, Devabharti Bhatta, Varun Patel, and Shubham Thakur. Last but not the least, to all those at sea, as well as those who retired, all our well-wishers amongst the student community and training institutes.
Yes.
You all have been and will continue to be a great source of strength and support for AIMPA to tap. Thank you.